Have you ever had one of those days where you just instantly click with a customer and everything is smooth sailing, but then the very next person you talk to feels like a total struggle? Well, today we're going to decode that. We're breaking down a really practical way to understand customer behavior, giving you a powerful new tool you can start using right away.
Right? This is the big question. It's at the absolute heart of great customer service. 1 minute, an interaction is easy, it's effortless. The next, it feels like you're speaking two completely different languages. It happens to everyone. And the answer isn't just about luck. It's really about understanding what's going on just beneath the surface.
And the key to unlocking all those interactions, the good and the challenging, is getting a handle on behavioral styles. Now, this isn't about trying to be a psychologist or anything. It's just about recognizing patterns that you can actually see and hear, so you can be a more flexible and, honestly, a much more effective communicator.
So what are we actually talking about here? A behavioral style is just an observable tendency. It's not some fixed personality trait that's set in stone. It's just the way someone naturally prefers to act when they're dealing with a task or with other people. And that word observable is everything. These are real clues we can see and hear in the moment.
Okay, before we dive into the different types, let's just lay down a few ground rules. First and most important, there is no best style. Each one has its own unique strengths. And because of that, different from you doesn't mean wrong. The whole point here isn't to judge or slap labels on people, it's to adapt. And remember, everyone is a unique blend of all four of these styles.
So, to keep this simple and easy to remember, we're going to use something called the RIDE model. It breaks down behavior into 4 main patterns that are actually pretty easy to spot once you know what you're looking for. So let's meet them.
First up, we've got R for rational. These are folks who tend to be calm, organized, and really process-oriented. They need to understand the how and the why behind a solution. They value stability, and they want to feel secure that there's a logical, step-by-step plan in place.
Next is I for inquisitive. Now, like the rational style, they're focused on the task, but their main driver is detail and accuracy. They need facts, they need data, they need proof. This is the customer who's already read all the product specs online and wants to know the nitty-gritty details before they'll make a decision.
Then you have D for decisive. This style is all about action and results. Their communication is going to be direct, fast-paced, and right to the point. They are not here for a long, meandering chat. They want the bottom line, and they want to know what the very next step is, right now.
And finally, we've got E for expressive. This is your classic people person. They are all about relationships, they're enthusiastic, and they tend to make decisions based on feelings and intuition. For them, that personal connection during the chat is just as important as the actual outcome.
Okay, so we've met the 4 styles, but just knowing what they are is only half the battle, right? The real skill is being able to identify them during a live interaction. And the key is to become a great observer, tuning in to both the nonverbal stuff like body language and the verbal cues in how someone talks. You know, you can learn so much before anyone even says a word. Just notice the contrast here. You've got the steady, direct eye contact from a decisive customer versus the softer, more intermittent eye contact from a rational one. Or think about the big, enthusiastic gestures of an expressive person compared to the deliberate, minimal movements of an inquisitive individual. These are huge clues, and they're immediate.
And of course, listening gives you even more to go on. A decisive customer might speak really quickly, very forcefully, and they might even interrupt to drive things towards a solution. But in contrast, an inquisitive customer, they're probably going to speak more slowly, more quietly, and focus on those precise details. You'll hear the energy and excitement in an expressive customer's voice, while a rational customer's tone will be super steady, even, and measured. So you can spot the styles by watching and listening. Now what? What do you actually do with that information? Well, this is where we build out your communication playbook. By tailoring your approach just a little bit to match their style, you can build rapport so much faster and solve problems way more effectively.
Let's start with the rational customer. Their core need, deep down, is to feel safe and secure. They really don't like ambiguity. They need to trust that you have a logical and reliable process in place to handle whatever their issue is.
So the key here is to build that feeling of security. And you do that by clearly explaining how you're going to fix their issue, step by step. Offering them resources like a case number or a direct link to a company policy speaks right to their systematic nature. Your calm, controlled body language and just actively listening will reassure them that you've got this under control. Now, for the inquisitive customer, trust isn't built on feelings, it's built on facts.
They need hard evidence to be convinced. Their internal monologue is all about data, details, and getting the most practical, well-researched solution possible.
So to serve an inquisitive customer well, preparation is everything. You got to have your facts ready to go. And when you suggest a solution, be super specific about each step and exactly why it's the most logical choice. Offering pros and cons shows you've done your homework, which, let me tell you, is the fastest way to build credibility with this style.
The decisive customer values one thing above pretty much everything else: their time. They are laser-focused on efficiency and outcomes. To them, problems are just obstacles to be cleared out of the way fast, and they really respect competence and action. Your whole strategy here has to be about directness. Respect their time by getting straight to the point. Lead with what you can do, not a long story about why you can't. Give them maybe 2 or 3 solid solutions and let them choose. By being professional, confident, and action-oriented, you're showing them you value their time just as much as they do.
And finally, the expressive customer. For them, the whole interaction is deeply personal. Before you can even think about solving their problem, you have to acknowledge their feelings. They need to know that you get it, that you empathize with their situation on a human level.
The strategy here is all about empathy. Your first job is just to listen. Seriously, give them the space to talk, to vent their frustrations without interrupting. Show them you're on their side with phrases like, "Oh wow, I can absolutely see why that would be so frustrating." For this customer, making that personal connection isn't just a nice little bonus, it's the essential first step. Now, while this RIDE model is an incredibly powerful tool for adapting how you communicate, it's so important that we use it wisely. To really master this skill, we have to recognize that we are always looking at other people through our own personal filters, our perceptions. And this is the final crucial piece of the puzzle.
And here's the critical distinction we have to make. Perception is the process of observing clues, like someone talking fast or making direct eye contact, and then using those clues to adapt your approach. A stereotype, on the other hand, is when you make a broad, unfair generalization without any of those real-time clues. This model is a tool for perception, never an excuse for stereotyping.
So we'll leave you with this thought. The biggest benefit of understanding these styles isn't just about understanding the customer better, it's also about understanding ourselves. By recognizing these patterns, we gain the power to adapt. But it also forces us to look in the mirror and ask, what's my own natural style, and what preconceived ideas might I have? And how can I stretch beyond that to give truly exceptional service to every single person every single time?